Today is the 3rd of January 2008, and we're here with Betty. Can you just tell us about your parents?
Life?
No, your parents and where they're from.
Yes. Oh, okay. My parents were from, they had grown up in Rome, both of them. And I was born in Rome, and then during the Depression, see, they had to give up the farm because they had just bought the farm and built a house and 4 barns and a silo. And when the Depression came, and then their bank went under, so they were just, in a bad spot. So they gave up the farm in Rome and went down to Henderson County and bought the farm down there, which was a far superior farm than the one in Rome, but it was no telephone on no good road or anything. But I loved that farm, and I loved my mom and dad. I was so lucky to be born in their nest, and because I could climb the old windmill, and I could get on my bicycle and ride everywhere. When I was 11 years old, I was back at the back of the farm, and I looked around, and there were 6 men back there, but there were 7 vehicles. And I thought, now, if I walk to the house, someone's going to have to walk back here to retrieve this extra vehicle. So I just got in the car and drove to the house, and I got right up to the house and killed the motor. So when I tried the starter, it made the awful racket, and so I had to walk all the way a mile back through the farm and get Daddy and
Sure.
tell him what was going on.
Can you tell me about your parents' and where they're from?
Yeah, they're what?
Where your parents' and where they're from?
Daddy's father came from Germany as a very young boy, and he came up over on the good ship. What was that?
Now, was it Baden-Baden, Germany?
From Con-Everstein. It's in the Baden-Baden area, but it's just a little place probably 10 miles out of Baden.
And their last name was Reisz, of course.
Right.
What do you remember? What his was? Granddaddy Reiss's parents. What were their names? Do you remember? Was this that or that?
Well, here, let's see. James Daniel Reisz.
So Granddaddy's name was James Daniel Reisz.
And his name was his father's name was Anselm. And his mother's name was Hayden.
So she was a Hayden before she married.
Yes, she was a Hayden, and her dad had been, her mother had been and he had been at that time out at. No, I'm getting mixed up with the Reineys here, but the mother came on to Louisville after her husband and her children all died, with the exception of my grandfather, and I went up the river trying to find where they had died and was buried. And I asked the lady up in Cincinnati, I said, well, she said there were so many people dying and being buried at that time. Wow. They couldn't keep records. And I said, why did this happen? And she said it was the Black Plague. Oh. It came overseas. The rats got on the riverboats and came on down. But anyway, and I said, well, I just can't believe that my grandmother would have left all of her family with unmarked graves or no, because she still came to Louisville and bought a little grocery, and it had a bar in it too. And I have been told or read, picked this up somewhere, that they had sold a livery stable in Con-Everstein to come over here and start their new life. So anyway.
And they came through Ellis Island.
Yes, obviously, and oh yes, and John Reisz. I don't know whether do you remember John Reisz? He and I are still about, well, and his sister, but she has Alzheimer's. But he and I are about the only ones left.
And the Reisz family.
Yeah, but but anyway, and then so he married a lady in Louisville and had 5 sons, I believe, and 1 daughter. And they had a child that died at a very early age. But anyway, after their mother died, he came on to Davis County and bought a farm. And this is taken in the summer of 1902. See,
So that's granddaddy.
yes,
That's granddaddy. That's granddaddy Fisher.
No, Granddaddy Reisz.
I'm sorry, Reisz. And then that's his.
This is his mother and daddy. And I have recently gotten a picture of her alone, which is no one knew.
She was a big woman, wasn't she?
She was very, very large, but no one knew who this was. John Reisz had. He said, "I don't know who this is," and I said, "Well, John, it's your grandmother Reisz." But anyway,
We've got about a minute left here on this.
about a minute.
So just, yes.
Now you tell me
So-
about where Grandma Rosie's, her parents were from.
Her grandfather, supposedly was a stowaway on a ship, and he supposedly came from a very, very rich family, but he left a bunch of brothers at home, and if they knew that he came to America, one of his brothers would have to serve his year in the army.
Okay, and her grandfather was from Germany. Is that right?
Yes, that's the one that
area
y'all
of
said
Germany?
was not. I think it was
Alsace?
Frankfurt, somewhere around
Okay,
Frankfurt.
okay.
Okay.
But and then I'm not really sure where her parents, where Grandma Reisz, Grandma Fisher's parents came from.
Okay.
But she was a Simon, and they came from the. I can't remember where that. But they came and were. Her mother, the one I told you that had the real good nature, she was a Nemer, and she came with her brother. Her parents were both dead, and she came over with her brother and his family. And
From Germany.
Yes, from Germany. And they came to the area there, and her brother went on, or some of some of his family went on to Evansville and are living there. They're Nemers.
Okay.
And
Nemers.
then they married, and Grandpa Fisher, they said he used to laugh and say that he had to learn to speak English 3 times because he was born in Louisville, in St. Martin's Church, I believe. I've been in this little church, and it's a beautiful little church.